Welcome back to Trigonometry, the sequel. No, it's just part 2. So let's recap yesterday. Hang on, I have to do this right, my YouTube thing, right? It's like, in yesterday's episode. Oh God, so dorky.
Here we go again.
Last time, we saw that the sine of any angle was given by a fraction of the side opposite it divided by the hypotenuse of the triangle. Cosine was adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent was opposite over adjacent. We had this funny little saying to help us remember them. What was our saying? Yeah! Some old hippie caught another hippie tripping on acid. Very nice. Did y'all fill in? You were out yesterday, weren't you? So at least you're here for the first time. Nice. Did you fill in what these actually stood for? If you didn't, do so now. Here's your chance to catch up. All right, those of you who did, tell me, what do I write?
Sine, opposite hypotenuse.
All right, someone else?
Which one ready?
I'm on,
Cosine.
yeah. Oh, this is cosine? Adjacent. Good. Someone else for the last one.
Oíle, morro.
Dime, dime.
Tangent, opposite, and adjacent.
Good. Beautiful. Turn the page when you are ready. Meet me on the other side. Bless you. Give me a thumbs up for some old hippies. All right, taking a look at your homework. Homework questions 3 through 8 are going to be found here in your notes. Okay? So if you look at these 3 examples for questions 3 through 8, you should be good. Looking at your homework, does anyone want me to review how you do any of these? I heard a yes. All right. In your homework, questions 3 through 6, I'll do any one of 3 through 6 with you. Number 3. All right. Number 3 on your homework. This is a freebie. You just got to follow along and copy. Here's our right angle. Where's our hypotenuse? Which one's my hypotenuse?
Right across
The one opposite from the
This one. Yeah, the one that don't got nothing. All right. Here's the angle that we've been given information on. So which side is opposite that angle? Yes. All right. So we have the hypotenuse and we have the opposite. That forces this side to be the adjacent. All right, let's call on our hippies. Some old hippie caught another hippie. And let's figure out which of these 3 items we have the information for. We have information on opposite and adjacent. Which one of these 3 uses opposite and adjacent? These 3. So, ka or toa? Opposite and adjacent. It's toa, tangent. So, the tangent of my angle is equal to the side opposite that angle divided by the side adjacent to that angle. Trying to solve for x, what's happening between x and 11? Division. How do you undo division? Multiplication. What am I multiplying by? 11, because I totally wrote it. That means that x equals whatever I get when I type into my calculator 11 tangent 64. Let's go to our calculators. All right, superheroes, first things first, make sure your superhero is in the right mode. He has to be in degrees, or she. Your superhero could be a she. Type in 11. You're going to type the Trig button to pull up your Trig menu. It's right down here next to the number 7. 11 first and then the Trig menu, yes. Go find tangent, then type 64, and then hit enter. What did we get?
22.55.
All right. 22.5533.
I got lost.
You got lost? Where did I lose you?
Put it back on the thing. Alright, how do you do it again?
So I typed 11,
Oh, okay.
and then I typed the Trig button,
10.
and then I found the tangent, and then I typed 64, and then I hit enter.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. All right, we want it to the nearest hundredth though. The hundredth is 2 decimal places, so I'm going to round it to there. Look at the number after the 5. This one. Is that bigger than 4? No, which means I'm going to throw these away and leave the number in front of it alone.
So that's
That's the answer. Easy enough?
that's the fun though.
We're trying to find a side length. I haven't gotten there yet. All right. Where are my notes for? Here it is. All right. So that was these examples in your notes. All right, looking at these. These two will help you with homework questions 1 and 2. And then if I turn the page, number 3 will also help you with questions number 1 and 2. Okay. Does anyone want to see these run again with the other angle to make sure you're feeling comfortable with it? Yes? Okay. So for the second one, we've been asked to find the sine of L. Here's my right angle. Here's my hypotenuse. This is my angle L now. So to find the sine of angle L, I want the opposite over the hypotenuse. That's always the fraction for sine. Which side is opposite angle L? 16. I'm in our notes again, number 1. And the hypotenuse of my triangle? 20. Okay, I can reduce these down. And then stick that in the calculator. And I'm done. Do I have anyone who sometimes has trouble figuring out which side is opposite and which side is adjacent? Yes? A little bit sometimes? Okay, so imagine that you're this dot. This is a room and you're standing in the corner and your back is to the corner. Which wall are you looking at? Which wall are you facing? This one. Because your back is to this corner. So you're facing this way. So this is the wall that you're facing. That wall is opposite to you. Because this wall is already said to be the hypotenuse, this is the only wall that can be adjacent. Okay? All right. Let's do cosine. We're going to do the cosine of L. Cosine is given by adjacent over hypotenuse, so we need to find the hypotenuse. There's the right angle. Which one is the hypotenuse? I heard 40 because it's directly opposite the right angle. Here's the angle that I'm looking at. I want the wall adjacent to the angle. Which one is that?
24.
That's the hypotenuse. I want the one adjacent. 24. I mean, you're not wrong. 40 is next to L. Okay, you're right. But this is already said to be the hypotenuse, so I can't call it the adjacent also. Okay? All right, so here's the adjacent. Here's the hypotenuse. I notice that I can divide both things by 8. And then I just wrote it as a fraction. Feeling okay? All right, turn the page when you're ready. Let's do one last example with tangent to close out this section of notes. Okay, let's write the tangent of L. Tangent is always given by opposite over adjacent. Opposite over adjacent. We're looking at it in terms of angle L. From angle L, which side is opposite? Yes, 12 square root of 3. Very good. Which side is adjacent to angle L? 36. Okay, and I can reduce that down to something like that. And I can stick that in the calculator and get a number. 0.58? Okay, I'm going to believe you because I didn't type it. Why did I put a 1 in front of the square root? That's a fantastic question. I reduced this fraction and realized that both of these could be divided by 12. So if I did 12 divided by 12, I got 1. 36 divided by 12 is 3. All right. So you should now feel comfortable enough to do number 1 and 2 in your homework. All right, don't forget, the important thing is that your calculator always be set in degree mode. If for whatever reason it's not set in degree mode, here is how you can change it, okay? So if you forget, that's how you can change it right there, those 3 screens. Now we've spent all this time using the measure of angles in order to calculate the measures of sides, but we could go the other way around by using the inverse of our trig ratios. Okay? We have 3 trig ratios, and so we have 3 inverse trig ratios. Here they are. So for sine, if we have the sine of some angle equals some number, then the measure of the angle is the sine inverse of that number I had originally. Notice the pattern. This pattern is going to hold for cosine and for tangent. In all cases, we can call this sine inverse, cosine inverse, tangent inverse. These are like the arch enemy, the supervillain to our superhero. Okay? All right, let's practice. We're going to find the missing angle in this triangle. Here's the angle that we're trying to find the secret identity of. Here's our right angle. There's our hypotenuse. And the side that we've been given information on, is it adjacent or is it opposite? Try again. It is adjacent to the angle that we don't know the measure of yet. Because we have information on both the hypotenuse and the side adjacent to the angle that we're looking for, we can use the cosine. This lets me write an equation that looks something like this. The cosine of the angle that I don't know, so I'm using a variable x, equals adjacent over hypotenuse. Now I want the x, right? I'm trying to unmask that x. But he's hidden by this supervillain right here. Do you see him? Okay? The opposite of a supervillain is a superhero. Cosine inverse. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other, so I'm going to have to do cosine inverse on the other side. Now this cosine inverse and this cosine are going to cancel each other out. It's like the superhero and the supervillain get into a big fist fight, and they undo each other. Okay? And that leaves the x all by itself. And on the other side, we have cosine inverse of 3 over 12. Let's go into our calculators and let's figure out what that number is. It is a 12. I started to write 13 because I'm dumb. I'm so glad you find that funny. It is a 12. I'm dumb. I can't write. I started to write 13. It's supposed to be 12. All right, let's write this in our calculator. So go to the trig menu. Find cosine inverse. Hit enter. And in the parentheses, you're going to write that fraction that you've been given. What do you get? 75.5225. Directions say round to the nearest degree. So I want the nearest whole number right there. Look at the number after that. Is it bigger than 4? It is bigger than 4, so I'm going to get rid of this and push that up by 1. If you look at your homework, number 9 through 14, that's this one. But using sine or cosine or tangent. Just depends on what the setup you have. Okay. Turn the page on your notes. How are you guys feeling on this? I've got 4 more examples exactly like the one you just saw. Do you want to see another one, or was that one enough? One more? Okay, happy to do one more with you. Which one? 4, 5, 6, or 7? Number 7? Number 4. Which one? Number 4, because it's got that square root. Oh my God, what do we do? Yes? Okay. Find your right angle first. Use that to find your hypotenuse. The directions say to find the measure of angle t. There's the measure of angle t, so I'm going to get a variable and I'm going to use theta because that's my favorite, hey, this is an angle measure variable. All right, let's look and call on the power of our hippies. And let's try to figure out which trig function we're going to use. How do you know it's tangent? Because we don't have any information about the hypotenuse. So we're going to use tangent. So the tangent of my angle is, what is the measure of the side opposite my angle? 14 square roots of 3. And the measure of the side adjacent to the angle? 34. Theta is my variable. I'm trying to get the variable by itself. Tangent's in the way. How do I undo tangent? With its inverse. How do you undo tangent? With its inverse. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other. Tangent inverse and tangent cancel, leaving you with just the theta. And on the right hand side, we have tangent inverse of 14 square root of 3 over 34. We've been asked to find this to the nearest tenth, so I definitely need to stick this into my calculator. Okay, into my calculator, we are going to literally type tangent inverse and then that weird fraction. Tangent inverse and then that weird fraction. So I set up the fraction, I hit Control Divide, 14, and then I'm going to set up the square root. So I'm going to do Control X squared. And it gives me the little square root thing. All right, looks like I typed everything in properly. I hit Enter, and what do we get out as a number? 35.49. Okay. I want it rounded to the nearest tenth, so I want it to that decimal place. Look, one behind it. Is that number 5 or bigger? Yes, so I'm going to add one more to this number right here. These 4 will also help you with your homework questions 9 through 14. Feeling pretty good? Yeah, you guys are doing awesome. I've got 2 more word problems for you. I think I want to save this as our warm-up when we come back tomorrow. Thank you very much.